Hello guys, so today we're going to look at how we can achieve this button interaction inside of Webflow. So I found this website, Issuebox. It's basically a productivity product, and I love how the button is being done. When you hover on it, it gives off this white overlay. So yeah, we are going to look at how this can be done right inside of Webflow. Come with me and let's go. So this is the button we are looking at animating. So let's get right into it. So the first thing we need to do is we are going to bring in a div block. Now this div block is going to serve as our main button. That's the button itself. And what we want to do is we're going to call this div block button. Let's say btn main, just like this. And the next thing we want to do is let's have a look. So we're going to give it a color green, and yep, we're going to give it a color green and having this curved edges and a height as well. So we're going to go down to colors here, background color, and we're going to say color green. You know, whatever color you choose to give it, like this. Maybe this green, this is enough, this is okay. And now what we want to do, we want to give it a height in rems. You can just say maybe 70 pixels, 70 px, but then in rems divided by 16 rem. So we have over let's say 4.5 rem, basically 4.5 rem, and we are going to give it a height. So sorry, a width. Let's just say for now, let's just say let's just assume 300 pixels of width for now. We're going to take it out, divided by 16 rem. So give or take, we have like, let's just say 20 rem. So this is how the button is going to look. Now let's give it a radius, a corner radius of, let's say 100. Let's say not. Let's say 50 px. Okay, 50 pixels, and give me a second. Okay, 50 pixels. So yep, we have this. This is the first step. Now the next thing that we want to do is to make this button a flex box horizontal, and yeah, make it a flex box horizontal, and this. You know, we're going to justify it like this. Now we're going to put two things inside of the button. We're going to put in the get started text, and also we're going to create a wrapper that is going to wrap this entire part. That's the arrow part and also the white background part. So let's do that. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is to get in a text block. And we're going to call this text block get started. Okay, get started. And we're going to give it a class name of maybe button text. Okay, that's what we're going to do. And this one, we're going to place it at the middle. Now we're going to add another div block inside of the button main. We're going to call it, let's add a div block. Now this div block is going to be the wrapper for the for this section that is going to house the arrow and the round white background. Okay, now let's do that. So we're going to call this button arrow wrapper. All right. That's what we're going to do, and we're going to give it color white. And what else? We're going to give the width 100%. Yep, and we are going to make it position absolute. However, if you understand how absolutes work, we are supposed to make this button position relative. All right. So this button wrap will be absolute to the button main. All right, good. So now what we want to do next is to put in another div block inside of it, and this div block we are going to call button. We're going to give it a class name of btn button arrow circle. All right, circle. Okay, now this one is going to have the arrow inside of it. So now inside of it, we'll put in an image and put in an arrow inside. So this is how it looks like now. So what we're going to do next, we're going to give this arrow circle, we're going to give it a defined width and a defined height of maybe 3 VW and a height of 3 VW, which is our viewport height. Oops, I made an error here. This button arrow wrap, we are not going to give it a color. Take it out. My bad. Instead, we're going to give this button arrow circle a color of white. Now, these three, let's work with pixels. All right, let's work with rems. I mean to say, let's assume 5 rem here. 5 is too much. Let's say 3.5 rem and height 3.5 rem. Okay, now we have this. Now what we're going to do next, this button arrow wrap, we're going to set it to display flex, and here we're going to justify it to the end. Okay, and we're going to set the, okay, good. Now we're going to come to the button arrow circle that has the arrow inside. We're also going to set it to display flex and align it to the center and also justify it to the end. It's very important. All right, it's very important. Or we can justify it to the middle, but later on when we start adding interaction, I'll show you why we will justify it to the end. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is to give this button arrow circle a border of maybe 50 pixels. Let's make it round. Good. So now we are creating the white parts with the arrow. Okay, now we are going to add a little bit of margin to the, okay, not margin, sorry. We're going to add a little bit of this button arrow wrap. Since it is set to absolute, we're going to add a little bit of right alignment like this. Okay, now we have it like this, which is looking good. So we have the first part almost sorted out. Now, mind you, this button arrow wrap is a div block that houses the button arrow circle, which is the white circle and the arrow inside. Now, this button arrow wrap is set to absolute and has over 10 pixels to the right. All right, and notice how it has moved 10 pixels to the right. All right, now this is how I would approach this, because when we add an interaction, we want this button arrow circle to expand to the left when we set it to 100%. Right now, this is set to width 3.5 and height 3.5. So when we set the width to 100% with interaction, we want it to scale all through like this. It's a little bit tricky because, building things like this, you need logic. You need to be very logical, all right? Okay, so yep, we have the button main, we have the button text. Now for this button text, we would set it to relative. Now I would say why when we dive further into the interaction part. However, let us tweak the button text a bit. We want it to be a little bit bigger. Let's say 1.5, 1.4 VW. Let's use rem. Let's not use VW. Okay, rem. So we want it to be 1.4 rem, which is good. So now we have this. All right. So just to go through all what we have the button main. So this is the actual button. Now we are going to set this actual button to a link block, convert to link block, so that you can easily redirect it to any page or to whatever link you want to redirect it to. All right. Now converting it to a link now changes the text, the get started text, which we don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here and set this value to okay. I wonder why this is still okay. I'm just going to go here straight up to the get started text. All right, and I'm just going to set it to dark, to black. All right, cool. So I think this is mostly it. Now let's go deal with the interaction. So when I preview it like this, we have this, nothing is happening. So when I hover, I want this round white circle to expand, just as we have here. When you hover, oops, notice how our get started is white. So let's go and do that. So I'm just going to go to the button arrow circle and set it to, oops, sorry. I'm going to go here and I'm going to set, sorry, the text, button text, I mean to say, and I'm just going to set that to white. I'm just going to set that to white. Okay, now we have this as white. Now, when you hover on it, I do not want that interaction to happen, that blue thingy. I don't want it to happen. Let it just remain white. Okay, so now we have this. So when we hover, I want this round white circle to expand all to this point, up to this point. And yeah, that's what we should do. So now what do I do next? I'm going to add my interaction to the button main, which is this one here. So I'll go to interactions and I'll go to element trigger and I'll go to mouse hover. So when you hover on it, something should happen. Start animation. And I'm going to click on add an animation and I'm going to say button interaction. That's what I'm going to call it. And I'm going to click on the action and I'm going to click on size because I want the size of the white background to, you know, expand. So I'll click on size and I'll click on change target. I don't want the interaction or the action to happen on the btn main, which is that div block. I want it to happen on this button arrow circle. So I click on change and I change it to this. So what I'm trying to say now is when I hover, this button arrow circle should the width should go from whatever it is to 100%, like this. All right, and I want that to happen in 0.3. Oops, sorry, I want that to happen to happen in 0.3 seconds. All right, and yep, let's just preview that. Let's just stop there and preview. So when I hover, what happens? Oh, okay. You see, that's the first thing that would happen. Now, what do I also want? When that happens, I want the text. I'm going to add another interaction. I want the text, which is the text color. I want the text color of what? I want the text color of the text color, which is this button color, button text. I want it to change to black. So from white, let it go to a black color. So let's preview and see. So when I hover, oops, when I hover, this happens. Now we cannot see the button text because the button text is hiding under of this white circle. That was why I said we need to make this button text. We need to set it to relative and also increase the Z index to maybe 5. Just make the Z index a little bit higher. Now, what was going to happen? So when I hover, you see we have the get started here and also the arrow at the middle. Now, this arrow is coming to the middle because we set this button arrow circle. We set it to justify middle. So what we should do, we want to set it to justify to the end. So the arrow remains at the end of the circle. So when I preview now and I hover, this is what happens. All right, that's what happens. So now what I want to do next, I also want to give this arrow, let's call it button arrow. I want to add a little bit of margin to it. So it's at the center of our circle, like this, maybe 16, maybe 1 rem. You can just say 1 rem for the sake of, you know, responsiveness. So 1 rem. So we have this. So when I hover on it, we have this happening. All right. So we just need to tweak some few things for it to, you know, be okay. Okay. So what do I want to do next? Now, let's have a look at it again. When I hover, this happens. Okay. Now, mind you, the white the white background is going outside of the green background. We do not want that to happen. So what do we want to do? We want to click on the button arrow circle, and we want to add a margin left to it, a margin left of, let's say, 1 rem. So it will restrict it from going outside of the green background. So let's have a look at it again. Good. Now we have this. So let's just make it 1.1 rem, and let's have a look at it again. So we are trying to make it equal to this other side. So let's the spacing here, the margin here, equal to the margin here. I'm going to go back again and make it maybe 1.15. Okay, I think this should be perfect. So when I hover, we have this looking good. Now, what if I hover out? Nothing is happening because I only added interactions for hover in. So if I hover out, nothing is happening. So let's go and do that. So what I'm going to do, still on the button main, I'm going to go to interactions, and I'm going to say mouse hover. Okay, now I'm just going to duplicate. Okay, I'm just going to click on this, sorry, and I'm going to scroll here and say duplicate, and I'm going to call this, I'm just going to rename this to button interaction hover out. Okay, so yeah, oops, sorry, this is not how I should do it. Sorry, I'm just going to delete this, delete. So button interaction, sorry. Okay, so done. Oops. All right, so for the first interaction we did, which is this one, we also have hover out. All right, we also have an hover out. So this one is for hover on hover, and this one is for hover out. We're just going to add an action and say start an animation. And now we're going to select this one, but this time around, we're going to duplicate the button, the first one we did, and we're going to now rename it from here to button interaction hover out. All right, now what do we want to happen when we hover out? When we hover out, we want this to go back to 3.5 rem, how it was before, and we want this button text to go back to white, sorry, to black, how it was before. Sorry, white. Yeah, the default is white. All right, so let's try it and see when we preview it. So I do like this, I do like this, do like this, I do like this. So let's go and change the timing for the hover out. So this is the hover out, and this is the second interaction that we've done. So we want this to happen at 0.5 seconds. All right, 0.5 seconds. So let's see. Hover. I wonder why it's happening so fast. I wonder why it's happening so fast. Oops, on hover. Let's see. And hover out. Hover out. What's happening? Okay, let's leave this at 0. Let's just take this back. All right, let's just take away the width. Before it was 100%, so let's just take it out, and at 0.5, let's see what happens. Hover. Oh, nothing is happening. So yeah, we're going to put back the width to, let's try auto. Let's try auto and see. Hover. Oh, okay. This is good. This is good. This is working perfectly. So I set it to auto instead. The width, I set it to auto. Now let us reduce the duration to 0.3 seconds. And let's see how this works. Hover. Good. All right, let's go and change the on hover as well, which is the first one, on hover. Let's change it to 0.3, okay? The button text, let's change it to 0.3. Let's change everything to 0.3. And the hover, let's change the button text to 0.3. And boom, we have this. So when I hover, this is happening. Okay, that's how you implement that. All right, let's do a rundown of everything that we've done. So what we did is let me delete all of this. So we created a button, which is a div block basically, and we just styled the div block to have a green background, give it a radius of 50 pixels, or you can use rems, and we set it to display flexbox horizontal, and we set it to justify okay, maybe middle. Okay, set it to justify space around. That was the first thing. Now inside of the button, the class name for the button is button main, and inside of it, and we also made it convert to a link block. So that button is a link block, so you can set the the link or wherever page you want it to go to. And inside of it, we have this button text here. So we have two things inside of it. We have the button text, and we also have this button arrow wrapper. This button arrow wrapper is what is handling this white background and also the image. So this button arrow wrapper, we set it to position absolutes. We want it to position absolutes to the button main, because this button main is set to position relative. Now inside of we did that, we set this to position absolutes, so we can easily add an interaction to it. All right, so inside of the button arrow wrap, we now have the button arrow circle, which is where we have the round circle with the white background, and also the button arrow, which is the image that houses the arrow. Okay, this button arrow circle, we gave it a defined width and a defined height of 3.5 rem, and we also set it to display flex absolutes and justify it to the left. We justified it to the left so the arrow stays to the left hand side even when we add an interaction for the white circle to expand to 100%. It can be a little bit confusing, but yeah, it works. You can just watch it over and over again to get a grasp of it. Okay, I hope this was very helpful. I hope to see you again in my next video. Bye for now.